Right now, on to the point. A rare active case of tuberculosis in the UC Davis community.
There is no vaccine that's used in the United States to protect against tuberculosis.
Migrants flown out of Texas again. Tonight, the governor's argument for it and the city calling for help. The holiday travel rush is underway during a big California storm. And as we count down the holidays,
a project that I truly enjoy doing.
Tonight, a Lincoln man and his Christmas display need your help to give back to others.
Good evening. This is To the Point, and I'm Alex Bell. An active case of tuberculosis, also known as TB, has been detected in the UC Davis community. But tonight, Yolo County Health tells our Alicia Machado contact tracing is underway and the risk to others is low.
Contact tracing is underway in Davis after a case of contagious tuberculosis was identified among the campus community. That's according to UC Davis. The illness spreads through the air and can be breathed in.
We're particularly concerned with frequent or prolonged indoor exposures in enclosed spaces. We're looking at an 8-hour cumulative exposure.
Yolo County Health Officer Dr. Amy Sisson says the health department has identified a set of close contacts to the infected individual. They are working to notify them of their exposure and bring them in for a blood test and evaluation to determine if they caught TB.
At this point, outside of that circle of close contacts, the risk to the general campus community and the Yolo County community is low.
Dr. Sisson says the infected individual no longer poses a risk to the campus community, but they were infectious for several months, from April to November. They couldn't provide more details about the individual for confidentiality reasons. Tuberculosis symptoms typically include coughing, fatigue, and fever, which are similar to symptoms of other respiratory viruses like COVID, flu, and RSV. But here's how to spot the difference.
Sometimes coughing up blood and a prolonged cough, so not just a couple of days of coughing, but we often see people who have had a cough for months.
Dr. Sisson says tuberculosis is treatable with antibiotics and also curable. She says TB is harder to catch than other infectious diseases.
In Yolo County, we average about 6 cases of active tuberculosis in a year. That's a very small number of people.
And Alicia is with us now. People might be surprised to learn that vaccinations for TB don't exist in the U.S.
Yeah, Alex, Dr. Sisson tells me while other countries vaccinate against tuberculosis, the United States does not. Take a listen.
In the United States, we don't use any vaccination for tuberculosis. In other countries, they use a vaccination against tuberculosis that's called BCG. But we have, in general, lower tuberculosis rates in the United States, and so we do not use that vaccine here. So there is no vaccine that's used in the United States to protect against tuberculosis.
In addition to that, Alex, Dr. Sisson adds that wearing a high-quality mask can be effective, but adds that the risk of catching TB is low, so there isn't a need to wear one.
All right. Thank you for the update and the information. We appreciate it, Alicia. All right, an update to a story that we first brought you last night. A new California concealed carry law has been blocked by a federal judge. And Attorney General Rob Bonta now says that the state will appeal this ruling. The law would have prohibited people from carrying concealed guns in 26 places, including public parks and playgrounds, churches, banks, and zoos. It would have taken effect on January 1st. The federal judge's ruling called the law repugnant to the Second Amendment, and the law's author had this to say today.
There's more action to be had on SB2, and there's certainly pieces of it that are going to be implemented on January 1. And so if ultimately the courts decide against some of the provisions, certainly we'll introduce something to rectify that situation.
The California Rifle and Pistol Association sued to block the law. They are celebrating yesterday's ruling, saying in part, the court saw through the state's gambit. New tonight, a seasonal Caltrans worker is under arrest. Ricardo Sanchez was taken into custody at the Caltrans dorms in Myers. The El Dorado County Sheriff described him as an armed and dangerous felon, and he had an active no bail warrant for his arrest. So Caltrans tells us in part, he was hired to work at the Myers maintenance yard back in January and brought back on this winter. Caltrans is grateful no one was injured in the incident. A suspected serial killer who allegedly stabbed 2 people to death and hurt a 3rd person remains unfit for trial. The Department of State Hospital says Carlos Dominguez remains incompetent and will remain in a state mental hospital. His next court date is set for May 24th. An update on breaking news tonight in West Sacramento. All westbound lanes of I-80 near Reed Avenue are reopening following a crash. We first brought this to you on the news at 6. The CHP tells us 4 cars were involved, and we are waiting to hear if anyone was hurt. Of course, we will bring you any updates as we get them right into the newsroom. And new tonight in the migrant crisis, the governor of Texas is once again moving migrants out of the state. This time, people are being sent to Chicago.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott releasing video flying migrants out of state. One woman explains there were more than 100 people on board the plane and says they were left deserted when they arrived late Wednesday night. It comes as the situation at the border continues to deteriorate. On just one day this week, an estimated 12,600 people crossed into the U.S. Many will wait at least 10 to 12 hours to be processed, some up to 2 days. The governor of Texas says he chose to fly migrants to Chicago because, quote, sanctuary city Chicago started obstructing and targeting our busing mission. Tonight, Chicago's mayor is calling this lawlessness. In Washington, House Speaker Mike Johnson sent a letter to President Biden today urging immediate executive action. He said the president should resume construction of a new border wall, reinstate a Remain in Mexico policy while ending the catch and release policy and expanding the use of expedited removal of migrants. Senate Democrats and Republicans have failed to strike a deal on border policy before the end of the year. The White House says that President Biden spoke with Mexico's president about the migrant crisis at the border earlier today.
Tonight, Chicago officials are calling for U.S. Immigration and Customs for funding from the federal government to assist migrants as the governor of Texas vows to send more migrants their way. And new information tonight about Rudy Giuliani. He's filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Last week, a jury ordered him to pay 2 former Georgia election workers $148 million. And it comes after a judge found he defamed them when he falsely accused them of helping to steal the 2020 election for Donald Trump. Next, on To the Point, rescues underway in California where heavy flooding is causing concerns.
A dense fog advisory now in effect up and down the valley. How long we expect it to remain and where we're seeing some of the thickest fog.
Plus, today is one of the busiest days at the airports. What you need to know if you're heading to SMF. And helping others this season, we're heading to Lincoln for a story behind this man's holiday display.
A project that I truly enjoy doing, but the best part of it is right now, when you get to see people and meet people.
Take a look at these videos out of Santa Barbara today. Heavy rain has led to road closures and rescues. One report this afternoon shows a Good Samaritan pulling a driver and child out of a BMW trapped in floodwaters. A police detective also carried a woman to safety after her SUV got stuck. Carly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it gets intense there. I mean, we had our own floodwaters, and even if it's just a puddle, it can really carry a car down the roadway very quickly. Right now, we're dealing with our own hazards right now as we are seeing a lot of dense fog building. A lot of the cloud coverage we received earlier today is beginning to move its way south. In its place, cold air moving in and now mixing with some of the wet ground that we still have from yesterday. It's creating some areas of very dense fog. The National Weather Service now issuing this dense fog advisory in effect now until 11 a.m. tomorrow, as we're going to continue to see very dense fog through the mid-morning hours. Some of this may not even lift even after 11 a.m. So be prepared to be dealing with this for quite some time. Right now, take a look at the visibility in miles, down to 1.3 miles in visibility for Marysville, and anywhere between where you're seeing just Arden Arcade all the way up North Highlands, Antelope, up toward Marysville, that very thick, dense fog building. You can also see it there as we take a closer look. You're seeing it really pushing along 80 toward Davis, Fairfield, 1.3 miles. SAC executive's not really showing up there just quite yet, but this I expect to drop down significantly within the next 30 minutes. With our weather headlines, that patchy morning fog does continue into your Saturday. We'll see mostly sunny skies this weekend with a mix of sun and clouds, partly cloudy skies into your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But the chilly overnight lows will remain in the 30s. As we track this system moving its way down the coastline, it's pulling in bands of rain to the north, and that's just going to remain mostly for the Central Valley. Meanwhile, while we clear out, we will be dealing with that dense fog. Here's your travel alerts. If you have plans to drive out tomorrow as you kick off your festivities, again with the patchy fog, please take it nice and slow. Keep the headlights on, no high beams. And then the wipers are going to be needed if you're headed to Southern California. If you're moving up toward the Pacific Northwest into Oregon, you will be dealing with snow and icy conditions for those mountain passes along with rain as well. So make sure you are prepared for de-icing, as well as handling any kind of chain controls that may be in place. As we look toward Wednesday, December 27th, we do have our next potential to see some showers in the forecast, even some snowfall, clearing out through December 29th. And then finally, as we take a look into Saturday, we could expect to see another shot for some showers and snow showers moving toward, yes, New Year's Eve. So we'll see if we actually get to get a dry New Year's Eve or not. But hey, either way, it's going to be a little chilly. Most people like to keep it indoors. Santa's coming, and he's coming quickly as he comes to town in the next about 48 hours to 72 hours, depending on where you live. You are going to see 46 degrees at 8 a.m. and then moving up toward lunchtime, we'll start seeing temperatures in the lower 60s. Then expect the evening hours to get closer to about those mid 50s overnight, as we'll start to see really temperatures dropping off into the 30s for your New Year's Eve morning and New Year's Day. Take a look at that, 36 degrees. We'll see Kwanzaa at 57 for the daytime high, and then on and off shower chances possible next week.
All right, thanks, Carly. Next, on To the Point, the holiday travel rush. We head out to SMF for what you need to know and meet the man behind this holiday display in Lincoln, giving back to kids, how inflation is hurting but not stopping his mission. All right, today marked the first of the 3 of the busiest travel days this holiday season, according to the TSA. Tomorrow and New Year's Day will be the other 2 busiest days. And if people have learned anything over the years, patience is key.
We'll have lots of fun with Mr. Snowman.
The Christmas countdown is on, and travelers are on their way.
It's not too bad. I mean, it's pretty bad.
The line's long, but it's moving.
The FAA expecting nearly 49,000 planes in the air today.
This is a very, very busy time. Get here early. Get here early.
Urging passengers to get to the airport 2 hours ahead of boarding time. The weather is not cooperating. Parts of the West Coast, including California, are getting hit with a major storm. Some areas are getting 3 inches of rain an hour.
All the runoff from there, the drainage can't take care of it.
SMF is preparing for its busiest travel day tomorrow. Staff encourages people to show up at least 2 hours before their flight. We asked, what does parking look like this year?
The number one thing is going to be parking. We do anticipate the lots to fill up pretty quickly during this time. And so we really ask people, give yourself plenty of time.
If you can take a ride share, you might want to consider it. You can also check parking availability on the airport's website.
And we checked some of the flights at the airport tonight. There are some delays. The longest are about 4 hours. Otherwise, the majority of the flights appear to be on time. And if you are driving, AAA says that the busiest days on the road will be the 23rd and the 28th. So just keep that in mind. All right, and your price points tonight. Experts believe work from home is here to stay. USA Today interviewed experts across the country. They found while remote work numbers have gone down over the past few years, work from home numbers have held about steady throughout most of 2023. They say 2024 will be the year for more employers to really figure out a hybrid model of going into the office and staying at home. There is still time to get last-minute tax deductions in before you have to file next year. The people at TurboTax are recommending a number of things. Consider donating to charities before the end of the year, contribute to your 401k, and review your investments, especially if you took any losses.
You want to look at your investments and see if there's any ones that are losing. And if you decide to sell those, you would just sell them by the end of the year. And if you had any gains, you would be able to offset those.
The tax deadline isn't until April 2024, but it's never too early to get a head start. Inflation has caused a lot of people to cut down on spending this year, but confidence in the economy is on the rise. A global nonprofit think tank named the Conference Board says its consumer confidence index has jumped to its highest mark in 5 months. Despite worries about inflation, more Americans say that they are planning to buy major appliances, cars, and homes soon. It comes as the National Association of Realtors says that sales of existing homes are up, but the inventory of homes is still low, keeping prices near record highs. All right, tonight, a man in Lincoln could use your help this holiday season. Every year, he creates a holiday light walkthrough on his 10 acres of land, all to give back to kids in need. But as our Jeannie Nguyen found out, this year has been a little bit difficult with the rising cost of living and inflation, impacts of the pandemic. But let me tell you, he is making the most of it. Take a look.
Taking a stroll on Pete Alcala's 10-acre property in Lincoln.
14 years.
Okay.
I've been doing this for 14 years.
You will see more than 200 hand-painted cartoon cutouts appealing to kids small and big.
Can I just say, you said that I would enjoy this. You're so right, because I'm a little mermaid freak. I love the Little Mermaid.
Decorated with so many lights, he's lost count.
I truly enjoy doing, but the best part of it is right now, when you get to see people and meet people, see the expressions on people's face.
It takes 2 months for Alcala and his family to transform his property into this, Pete's Christmas walkthrough. And at the front of the entrance, a $5 parking fee.
Why we made a $5 parking is because that's just going to ensure us that we're going to cover kids.
Working with schools in his community, Alcala gets a Christmas wish list from kids and families in need. But this year, things have slowed down, and he's citing the rising cost of living and the pandemic.
It has impacted the turnout. For 2 years, we had not had the Christmas lights up. And so when we started up again, people were wondering, is that place still open or is it not?
Despite the slowdown, Alcala was still determined to make a difference and sponsored more families this year. He says he spent around $4,000, all from donations from his Christmas walkthrough.
All the money goes to families.
From clothes, toys, bikes, and even electronics, Alcala says he feels called by his faith to try and help those in need, especially during hard economic times.
Do you feel like it means more this year?
I think it means more to families in need every year. It's just not this year.
Regardless of what's going on in the world during the holidays, Alcala says he'll always find a way to support his community.
It's not about the money with us. It's about helping people. And if we got an opportunity to do that, I know this family will.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you for spreading a little bit of holiday cheer. And Pete's Christmas walkthrough will be open on Christmas Day and stay open for a few days after Christmas. He will happily accept donations anytime. And if you are on his property, he takes cash, but he also has a Venmo account. We have posted his account information on our website, abc10.com, if you would like to go ahead and donate. All right, still ahead, how To The Point has spent time in the community this year. Our team spends a lot of time in the community, and if you ask anyone who works in news, they will tell you it is the highlight of the work that we do. Spending time in the community helps us support organizations doing some incredible work and also understand people's needs. So as this year comes to a close, here's a look at just some of the time that we spent alongside you just this year. Walking from Southside Park to the state capitol, we met thousands of people at Sacramento's annual Pride Parade. We had our shirts, flags, and bandanas ready for an unforgettable afternoon supporting our local LGBTQIA+ community. Habitat for Humanity lit up the night sky for the Hard Hats and High Heels Gala to support the vital work of Habitat for Humanity, whose mission is to create more housing for families who need it right in our community.
Stretch it out here.
Bright and early in the morning, we warmed up for the annual My Sister's House Run for a Safe Haven. The run supports domestic violence victims, especially those with language and cultural barriers, build not only a sense of community, but get access to shelter, legal services, and education, among other support. Some events shape our community in ways we can't even imagine, like Sacramento's deadliest plane crash. It led to the creation of the first burn hospital in our area. During a panel discussion and viewing of To The Point special on the plane crash at the Sacramento Firefighter Museum, our team had the opportunity to meet victims' families, learn more about innovative medical advancements for burn patients, and thank the firefighters who have served our communities for decades.
So from this humble beginning, we are helping a whole lot of people.
Celebrating those who have made meaningful change was the focus of the inaugural Sacramento Changemakers Awards, hosted by the Sacramento Bee and the Nehemiah Emerging Leaders Program.
As host for the evening, I had the pleasure of recognizing the top 75 leaders right here in our community. And food insecurity is an issue ABC 10 continues to raise awareness about.
Walt has not stopped moving. If I stop, then I stop.
Our Stand Against Hunger campaign helps raise money for 7 local food banks to help feed those most in need. But we don't just raise money, we also help prepare and distribute the food, putting it into the hands of our community. Because at ABC 10, we stand for you.
Can you tell we have a little bit of fun? We love this community. This is not just where we work, it's where we live as well. And we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for trusting us with your stories. And thank you for all the calls, emails, text messages. We really do read them and we greatly appreciate them. Have a great night. I'll see you right back here tomorrow and have a safe evening. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.